Hey everyone, I hope you're all doing really well. Today we're gonna be wrapping up my 2023 makeup no-buy, which is something that I am so incredibly excited to do, something that I'm so happy to finally say out loud because it is nearly the end of November. I started this at the very beginning of January, and my last update, which was like 2.5 months ago at this point, I was incredibly close to my goal. So if you weren't familiar with this no-buy, my goal is to not purchase any new to me makeup. I do allow PR to come into my life. I am a little bit more choosy and a little bit more selective with PR, but I wasn't allowed to actually purchase any new makeup until I finished up 23 makeup items from my current collection and hit 5 new non-eyeshadow pans, because I am consistently hitting pan in my eyeshadow collection through my Pan Those Eyeshadows project, but I wanted to push myself to hit pan in things like blushes and bronzers and face powders, that kind of stuff. And so I had basically 28 product goals throughout this year that I wanted to achieve before I started bringing new makeup into my life. I did allow myself, though, the option to have kind of an opportunity for repurchases of products that I had eliminated everything from that category. In the last update for this particular no buy, I was so close to my goal because I had actually already surpassed my new pans goal. I was at 6 total new pans in my collection throughout the year of 2023, which was amazing and something that I'm really happy about. And I was at 21 makeup empties. So I was just too shy of my number of empties that I wanted to achieve. So I'm so happy to say that today I have definitely blown that number out of the water. I have far exceeded my 23 empties that I wanted to kind of reach before concluding this no buy. And I'm so happy to share all of those products with you today, minus the ones that are currently in my project pan because I don't want to spoil that. So we're not going to talk about the things that I have finished from my project pan. So just know there are more empties, but we're not going to talk about them yet because I don't want to spoil that. So let's hop on into those empties. Let's chat about those other products that I've been able to finish up over these last couple months of the year. So the first ones that I want to talk about, these were both items that I finished up actually through my Graveyard Project pan. So you may already be familiar with these empties. Try to keep it nice and brief if I can. But the first one is the shade I'm Pup Set, which is a eyeshadow topper from the e.l.f. and J. Kissa Suki to My Heart eyeshadow topper duo. I am considering this to be an empty because this counts as one single item in my makeup inventory, and it is no longer an item in my inventory because it's no longer usable. So that shade is entirely used up. It was a beautiful green shade, gorgeous dimension, but I am kind of falling out of love with glitters and liquid shadows in general, just because as much as they are beautiful and impactful, they're just not something that I feel the need to work into my routine all that often, and I oftentimes overlook them. But I'm really happy that I was able to finish this one off through my Graveyard Project pan. And then in that project as well, I did finish this little eyeliner. Well, now it's little. This is the NYX Slide On Glide On eyeliner. This one is in the shade Golden Bronze, I believe. And it was phenomenal. I loved this little guy for so long. I think I talked about this a million times on my channel because it's just a beautiful shade that I found so incredibly flattering, and I kind of miss it. I kind of actually already miss it, but not enough to be urgently needing to repurchase it or anything like that. But it is a really flattering shade that I just found to be so gorgeous, a little bit smoky, a little bit sultry, but just it worked really well with my coloring and with my eyeshadow preferences. Overall, it was a great product, but I am happy that I used it up as opposed to letting it go bad. I finished up this little mascara combo here as well. I've had both of these open for far longer than probably what I should have. I think that these should be open for 3 months. I probably had them open for over 6 months, but they are both very much dried out, flaky, and no longer working as they were once before. These are both from the Pacifica Vegan Collagen line, and I did receive both of these in PR actually. The first one is the Fluffy Lash Mascara, and then the next is the Lash Serum and Primer. I enjoyed these both in tandem with one another, but I also enjoyed both of these on their own with other products. Oftentimes I would just use the mascara just as a standalone mascara. Sometimes I would wear this over top of mascaras that kind of smudge and flake on me. This would help to really lock them in. And then the primer, on occasion I would wear it with other mascara formulas, but I actually really did like the way that these two in particular paired together. It just created a lot more drama, a lot more volume, and this was a really good formula that like holds up on my lashes. But I do find that these both started to feel quite dry pretty early on, but I would add a little bit of Visine in, and I found that that was totally fine to rehydrate them and to ensure that I got a really good coating on my lashes. And yeah, they were overall really great products. I think this is my third or fourth tube now of the vegan collagen, probably my third tube of it now. And I quite like it, but it's not something that I'm gonna run out and go repurchase. I like playing around with different mascara formulas, especially considering they are the kind of thing that I work my way through pretty quickly and easily. So I'm not gonna run out and get either of these again, but I did enjoy both of them. And this next product is an incredibly exciting empty for me. This is the Essence Sheer and Shine lipstick in the shade BFF. She is completely gone. I depotted this a couple months back, ended up using every last bit out of that depotted little pan that I had it in. And oh my gosh, this feels like quite a win for me because this is a product that I have been working on in various project pans and working to try to use up for so long. And I know it's just a little drugstore lipstick, but I was in it for the long haul with this one. And my God, yeah, it took me forever. It took me so much work, but I am happy that I finally got it used up. I had been so close to done with it when I wrapped up my Graveyard Project pan this year. So I'm happy to report back and let you know that I was able to actually finally accomplish that goal of using this up. And then I finally also have just two products that I'm gonna talk very briefly about. The first one is the Sigma Tint and Tame Brow Gel. I actually received this earlier this year in PR from Sigma, and it didn't last me that long, but I don't have a very extensive brow collection at this stage in the game. I'm actually down to just 2 brow products, so this was the only like brow gel type of product that I've had for quite a while, and it was good. It did the job just fine. I wouldn't say that it was like a make or break kind of product for me. Didn't leave like a massive impression on me either, but it did the job. And that's fine. I did take out the stopper and literally use up as much as I could. Like the wand is now coming out completely dry. It's no longer usable. There's absolutely nothing remaining in here. And yeah, it was a good enough product to use up. That is without a doubt. And then the final empty is one that I have been so close to done with for what has felt like an eternity. It was the Flower in Your Prime eye primer. That always tends to be the case with eye primers for me. It just feels like they go on forever and ever and ever and ever. And I'm so happy this is finally an empty. I've had it for years. I've used it pretty much as my standalone eyeshadow primer for all of that time. And it is finally an empty. Not to say that I disliked it, not to say that I didn't enjoy using it. It just was something that really just seemed like it was holding on for forever. I ended up cutting into it and taking out all the primer that I could from here. There was maybe a tiny bit remaining in here, but I did take it out, scoop it into a container that had a lid and tried to keep it as tight as I could so I could use every last bit of it. And that even lasted for so long, but this is finally an empty. So that is it for the empties portion. That means that I have used up 7 additional products, which means that I am now at 28 makeup empties for the year. And as I said, I do also have a few things that are empty that are currently in my project pan, but I don't want to chat about them quite yet. I actually, at the very end of October, which is when I really should have sat down and shared this with you, I had actually like 5 empties. So I would have already exceeded my goal of 23 empties regardless, but I have kind of given myself a little bit of extra space, a little bit of extra time to use up a few more things. And so I'm really happy to see that right now I'm standing at 28 makeup empties for 2023 so far. And I do have one new product pan to share with you as well. Just a sneaky little bonus one because we already had exceeded my goal of 5 new pans in my collection. but I do have one more. So this will be my 7th pan for this year. And I did share this new pan with you in my most recent Project Pan update, but nevertheless, I just wanted to show it off. It is from my Melt Ultra Matte Liner in the shade Cultura. As you can see there, I did hit a little bit of a pan just at the very bottom of the glass jar. So 7 new non-eyeshadow pans have been achieved in my collection this year. That is something that I'm very, very happy about, and I definitely want to try to keep up that momentum in the coming years. I have so many panned products in my collection. I have so many things that are cream or powder products that live in pans that need a little bit more loving on them. I don't have very many products in my collection that have pans minus eyeshadow, so I want to remedy that moving forward. But I am so, so happy that I was able to achieve that goal. Yes, it was a low goal, but I wanted to start off slow because a lot of the time I fixate on finishing things up. And when I do that, I oftentimes try to overlook the really more challenging products like those pressed powders and creams because they take a long time to use up. So I try to focus on basically like the kinds of products that I just shared with you as empties right now. Mascaras, eyeliners, brow products, those kinds of things that you can work through a little bit more quickly and get that momentum going. But then that means that the other products in my collection, other categories, don't look as loved, if that makes sense. And as I said in the earlier parts of this video, I have been really fortunate to receive PR, to have opportunities to receive PR through this year. And since the last time that we chatted about this no buy, I have received 6 individual items in my collection through PR. So the first 2, I received these at basically the end of summer. These are both from What's Up Beauty. These are stunning, stunning, stunning. These are the Serengeti highlighters. I received both shades that they have available. The first one is Wild Acacia. Just look at this beauty. This is a highlighter that has 2 different shades. You can mix them together or you can wear them independent of one another, and it's just this gorgeous embossing. It is so incredibly beautiful. And then the same pattern is in the other one, which is called Safari Sunset, which is a little bit more rosy and a little bit more golden. I don't know if you can tell that there, but these are 2 different tones as well, and they can be mixed again or worn independently. Both of these are beautiful, absolutely beautiful. I have worn these several times. I can actually see quite a bit of wear happening, unfortunately, on the Safari Sunset shade. I just love this golden tone. I'll share with you a quick little swatch of that. So that is a swatch of the shade that I have been absolutely loving. It just looks like glossy on the skin. And then if you mix it with the pinky tone, it's a little bit more neutral. And it's just incredible. They're so soft, they're so reflective. This one right here is the mixture of those 2 shades. And this shade is a little bit more icy, but I feel that now that I've lost a lot of my summer tan, I'm actually gonna really get into using this shade. I've worn it a couple of times. I didn't love it as much as the other tone, but I definitely am excited to play with this as we approach the winter months now here instead. And then I have received 4 items from Lottie London very, very recently. So these are things that I actually just brought into my collection within the last couple of weeks. So I don't really have opinions on these items yet. The first item here I've not even tried yet. This is the Lottie London Bubble Tea Primer. I smelt this and it smells like kind of fruity, watermelony kind of smell. And so I have been a little bit hesitant to put it onto my face because if you're not familiar, I do have a fragrance allergy. And while sometimes it's not an issue for me, it is something that I do have to be a little bit cognizant of. I do need to kind of have some hesitancy towards products. So I just haven't had a day where I could just like throw this on, and if I started to have an allergy, I could easily wash it off and just kind of get back to my day. So I want to put this to the test, but I need to do it in the kind of situation where I know I can take it off if I need to and not allow it to just continually get worse, if that makes sense. So that just hasn't been something that I've had an opportunity to do yet, but I am aiming to try it out because I am really curious. It is supposed to be a hydrating primer, which I absolutely love. So I think it should be a good product for me overall, as long as the fragrance doesn't cause irritation. And then I received actually all 4 shades of the Cheeky Glow, but I have decided that I'm only going to keep these 2 particular shades because I think that these are the ones that I'm going to be most drawn to. And it's just, honestly, for me, 4 liquid highlighters is just excessive. These 2 are more than enough for me. So the one that I've already opened is the shade Peach Bellini. I've been wearing this quite a bit, actually. I'm not wearing it today, and I should have put it on. Actually, we could put it on, whatever. We can just put it on kind of mixed in with my blush. And that's how I've been wearing it, to just kind of give me more of a glowy blush kind of look. This is the shade Peach Bellini, which is just so perfect. It's not overly shiny, but it definitely offers a glow to the skin. And then the other shade that I've received is Champagne Drip, and I haven't yet opened it. I don't know why I haven't opened it, because I really do enjoy this formula. As you can see, it just gives a little bit of glow, a little bit of something. I just haven't opened it quite yet. I know I will though, because this is something that I'm really excited about, because I have been enjoying the formula of this one. I don't see why I would not enjoy the formula of this one either. So I wanted to hold on to this just to offer me more of a traditional highlight kind of shade, versus this is more of kind of like a blush topper, blush light sort of scenario for me. And then the last item that I received from Lottie London was this lip gloss right here. This is the Glossed Smile Brightener Clear Lip Gloss Oil. I've only worn it once. I've just been so fixated on the lip gloss that I've been trying to finish up in my project pan that like no other lip glosses have had like a moment on my lips. But very soon I will be using this very often, I'm sure of it. I love a good lip gloss in a squeezy tube. It's just super easy to throw on throughout the day. So that's what it looks like, kind of with a thick layer. But if you just blend it out, it barely has a blue tint, and it has this really refreshing kind of minty, almost toothpaste kind of scent to it. It's actually very fresh, and I just think it's gonna be something that is super easy to throw on and use all the time with any look, or even without any other makeup as well. So I'm really happy and confident to say that I am ready to end this makeup no buy, and that's simply because I have surpassed those goals that I set for myself in terms of the number of products that I wanted to use up and hit pan on. And I feel like I'm definitely ready to just be a normal consumer, at least for a little while. I don't necessarily want to set any sort of like rigid rules for myself in terms of what I want to bring into my life or where I want to be at in the new year. In fact, over this past month, I've basically could have ended my no buy at any point, and I could have purchased any number of things truly, because I had exceeded my goals, but I just didn't have the time to sit down and share that information with you. So I held off. And tomorrow is actually my birthday, and I just kept kind of thinking like, do I want to buy myself a birthday gift? And I never got around to it. However, yesterday we went to Walmart to do a little bit of grocery shopping and to pick up some pharmacy items, and I did end up purchasing one makeup item, and it was the CoverGirl Clump Crusher mascara. So not even anything super exciting to like conclude my no buy with, but I did decide it was finally time to purchase myself a mascara. I know I love this formula. I've been using mascaras that I haven't absolutely loved for the last little while. And so I just wanted something that was, you know, reliable and something that I could just wear all day without any smudging or flaking, especially considering all the mascaras that are currently open in my collection are older, and so they're kind of dry. So it was just something that I decided to do kind of on a whim, and that's what I did. So I've only purchased 2 makeup products for myself in the entirety of 2023, but my makeup collection itself has actually increased. It is inflated, which is the opposite of what I was aiming to do with the goals that I set myself. But I did allow PR to come into my life, and so my collection did bump up quite a bit. At the beginning of this year, I had 435 individual makeup items in my collection. So that was individual pans of eyeshadow, individual samples, not including like entire palettes as one item, but like breaking it down by 14 eyeshadows or whatever. And so I was at 435 individual makeup products. In an ideal world, I would have gone down by 23, 24, 25, 26, 27 kind of items. But because I was bringing in PR, my makeup collection has actually gone up by 40 items. My makeup collection is now at 475 individual items. But I went through, I received 4 different eyeshadow palettes this year, and that was 45 individual eyeshadow pans. My collection has gone up 40 items from the beginning of this year as opposed to decreasing. So that was not my intention. That was not my overall goal. But when I look into my collection right now, I don't feel overwhelmed with the selection of things that I have. I'm really happy with where the majority of my categories are at, and I'm incredibly close to using up several more products from my collection. I just haven't counted them in these numbers because I haven't talked to you about them yet in these videos. So by the end of this year, I'm definitely going to have another maybe 5 or 6 empties, if not more than that. But I'm not planning on really bringing in any new makeup, so I don't know. And that piece of the no buy is not something that I was holding myself accountable to every time that I updated this no buy. So I kind of wish that I had like really checked in with myself earlier on in the year and reined that in maybe a little bit more, and, you know, decided to refuse maybe a few more PR opportunities in order to keep the numbers a little bit more at bay, to keep things a little bit smaller, to ensure that I was keeping my collection closer to that 400 mark. Now I'm definitely closer to 500 items, but I just wasn't really holding myself accountable to that. It was something that I had said and didn't check in on moving forward. So that is something that I'm not upset about. I'm not disappointed or anything, but it's just something I wanted to hold myself accountable to now and tell you where I'm at, because when I started off this year, I did have a little bit more intentions to really hold myself accountable to reducing my overall collection, and that didn't happen. But at the end of the day, I am actually really happy with my overall collection. I'm really happy with so many of the products that made their way into my life this year. I'm so happy with the current state of my overall collection. I actually feel excited by what I have, and I feel like I have more than enough selection within the products that I do have. I'm very, very content with the current state of my collection. There's nothing that needs to really be added to it or omitted from it. It just feels like something that I can handle a little bit more naturally now. I have no desire to really declutter anything at this stage. I have no desire to like bring anything new in necessarily. I'm overall just very happy with the current state of my collection, and I think ongoing I want to just try to maintain this semblance of a balance. I will never be a makeup minimalist, I don't think. I love having selection. I like playing, I like creating, but I never want to let my collection get too large, too excessive, and I want to just enjoy what is already available to me, because this is more than enough makeup for my face and my life. I haven't quite decided if I want to have any sort of low buy or no buy for 2024. I don't think that's something that I want to do. But I was kind of thinking about this idea of having something to keep myself accountable. Perhaps we could check in every 2 months, similar to how we have this year, but instead talk about what has left my collection and what is coming in. And that way I can really keep myself accountable with the numbers of what's in and what's out, and ensuring that things are kind of aligned and in check. And yeah, what do you think about that? Do you want to maybe see that sort of series, just seeing what I've decided to spend my money on, what I've accepted in PR, and what is leaving my collection? Because ideally, I can keep up this momentum with empties. That is the goal. I would love, love, love to keep using things up. But that's just an idea that I'm starting to kind of spitball and figure out if that's something that I want to do. Let me know, though, if you have any ideas of how I can kind of monitor my makeup consumption. What kind of things would you maybe want to see on my channel? What kind of journey do you want to see me take next? But That, my friends, is everything after all these rambles. I do definitely want to wrap this up because this has been a long one, a chatty one for sure, but I just want to say a huge thank you for all your support on this no buy and just in general over my makeup consumption kind of journey over these last few years. Thank you so much for watching, and thank you so much for hanging out with me, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye everyone.